Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather, quantum healing hypnosis practitioner with Quantum Healing Within. I I just felt this huge urge to get up and make this video. And this video is going to be like a spiritual awakening 101. Just recently, I have started to work with some new clients who are brand new to their spiritual awakening journey. And I mean, brand new, like all the things are happening, and it literally feels like, if you've been on your awakening journey, and they all look different. That's the funny thing. They all look different, but it can feel like you're losing your mind. It can feel like you're going crazy. All of these new things that you had no idea were even real or possible start popping up left, right, and center, and you're left going, what is happening? More than likely, there's no one else around you that is going through the same thing that you are. So then you try to tell others what you're experiencing, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're getting. And they just look at you like you're crazy. It's like the deer in the headlights look. Okay, you just lost it. So I really felt called because, sometimes for me, I've been on my journey. I'll say my journey kicked into gear in 2017, may have started a little bit before, but all of the things started happening, like the bigger things, between 2017 and 2018 for me. And those were the years for me that I was like, what is happening? I've told my story quite a bit, so I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but for me, it was a very rapid awakening, a very rapid experience. It was like they just tossed me in the deep end with all the things and said, okay, go. And I had to sort of flounder around and try to figure out what was happening to me and why and all the things. So, I wanted to create a video for those of you who may stumble across this one. You're just starting to go through your spiritual awakening and you're wondering what is actually going on. And I kind of want to just start from the basics. And this is my understanding. Now, we all have different perspectives, we all see things differently, we all look at different information, and my perspective may be different than yours, and that's okay. I just want to share what I've learned, what I've experienced, and if it helps another person who is going through this rapid, crazy awakening, because I feel like this is starting to happen more and more. And it's almost like if you woke up many years ago, you started going through that awakening journey, maybe you had more time to step into things. And so, as we're speeding up, moving into this ascension process, time is going by quicker, and you're having to sort of get up to speed a little more quicker than maybe you did if you had many years to go through this process. So, what is a spiritual awakening? Well, for me, it's just beginning the process of remembering who and what you truly are. Many of us have had a belief system for a long, long time that we're just this human living this one human life, that you are created at birth and you live this one life experience and then you die. And then it just depends on what your upbringing taught you, what religion that you're connected to, what your parents may have taught you, their beliefs, or just what you believe. Whether you believe you're going to heaven for all of eternity, or whether you don't believe that there's anything at all and you just sort of, life is over, everything is over, or any range in between, because there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of different beliefs what happens to the soul, or what happens to you on upon death. So, when you become a hypnosis practitioner and you start to learn how you can navigate past life regression, and even you learn how you can go in between lives. So, Dolores Cannon wrote an amazing book called, I hope I don't get it wrong, Life Between Lives or Lives Between Lives. It's something like that. You'll know it when you look for it. One of my most favorite books of hers. Um, these were hypnosis journeys that were the between life experiences that her clients visited. So she would go into a hypnosis session, and a lot of times when you're doing past life regression, you go back into a lifetime. So you go into a human life, or you can go into a galactic life, or you can go into some other life because we're more than just these human beings that we believe ourselves to be. But she could go in between lives. So it's sort of that planning stage from one lifetime to the next, where you as a soul are working typically with your guides or with a council or whoever it is that's helping you to prepare for the next life you're going to journey into. And if you really want to get your mind all twisted, all of our lifetimes they're not all playing out linearly like we think. Like I was this in this lifetime, and then I progressed to this lifetime, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. They are all happening right now. That's what is so amazing about past life regression is we can hop from lifetime to lifetime, and I feel like we are literally connecting with that lifetime that is active right now. Everything is happening right now. Hard to get your mind around that, I know. So, when you start learning about that, you start to realize that you're not just this one human having this one human lifetime, and then that's it. And your soul doesn't go somewhere and spend all of eternity. And I'm not debunking that there is a heaven or a place where people go as souls go, because I do believe that there is that experience if your soul desires to have it. However, I also know that it is not the end all be all. If your soul chooses to have another experience, you can. That's what's so amazing about these beautiful souls is they are able to sort of fractal or fragment off and have different incarnations and different experiences. So you start your spiritual awakening journey. You start to realize, wait a minute, there's more than just this physical human experience that I'm having. It's bigger than that. Your eyes begin to sort of open to the expansiveness of the universe. And at first, it's really hard to believe. You start learning. Well, I'll tell you, for me, it was the angels that came in. And I didn't really have an opinion about angels. I knew about angels. I thought angels are amazing, but I didn't really connect with them. But they were the first ones to come in for me. And as I started practice of meditation, I began to channel my angels. I didn't know what channeling was at the time. I didn't know what was happening to me. I just heard all these beautiful voices in my head saying, everything's going to be okay. You're great. You're doing great. We're here with you. We love you. I thought I'd lost my mind for a bit. I was going through a challenging time in my life. And all of a sudden, one day, I started seeing this sort of morphing energy and light in my third eye. Didn't even really know what a third eye was at the time, but I could see this energy with my eyes closed. And then I started getting these beautiful messages downloaded to me, given to me. And it took me a little bit of time to accept that angels were real, but they were coming from every which direction. So, angel books and angel documentaries and angel videos on YouTube. I was inundated with angels, angel numbers. Oh my gosh. They were really trying to get my attention. And so finally, after a good bit of exploring angels, I had to say, okay, there's something to this. And of course, again, you're sort of asking around, is anybody else having this experience? And none of your friends, no one is. You're kind of a loner. So for me, the next step was the galactics. And this was crazy at first. I started having all of this information just again flood in like the angels, but this time it was a lot of Pleiadians, Pleiadian energy came in, or Pleiadian information. That is one of my main ties, connections as a star seed is to the Pleiades. And so they were next to try to get my attention. And that took a little bit longer, because angels we've heard about. I grew up in a religious family, somewhat religious family. And so you connect angels with Jesus and God and all of those things. But galactic star beings, that's a stretch. But they were coming at me again. I wasn't seeking the information out, it was falling in my lap. And when I would read it or look at it, it's like I could feel this connection. It felt right. There was something about the things that I was reading and seeing and learning that felt like home. And it started me understanding that I'm a star seed. What is a star seed? A star seed just means that you are a soul that has experienced higher galactic lives, higher meaning higher dimensional galactic lives, and you have come back to Earth at this time to assist with the ascension process. What is ascension? Ascension is what we are all working towards to try to raise the frequency and the vibration of this planet so we can shift into a higher dimension out of this low density that we've sort of been existing in on planet Earth for a very long time. The frequency of this planet has been very low. It's kind of like you can think of it as we've just been existing in an energy that's very heavy. It's very dense, and it allows for us to experience a lot of our lower emotions. So, fear and anger and rage and, any low frequency emotion you can think of. Problem is that on this earth, in that lower dense energy, in the third dimensional space where we've all been residing in, it has allowed for us to experience things like war and poverty and hunger. There is an imbalance of energy on this planet. And it has just created this sort of dimensional space where all of these very low frequency experiences can be had. And you could look at this in different ways. There's a lot of people that say, we chose to have this experience because sometimes you need the dark to help you see the light. But it's been really heavy. And there's a lot of really dark things that go on this planet. And you could say, a lot of people do, that we're sort of on a prison planet, meaning that a lot of our freedoms, and again, there's multiple ways to look at it. There's always a higher and a lower, but you could say that a lot of our freedoms have been sort of taken from us. Again, you could look at that, not that they've been taken, but that we've chosen to experience it so that we could rise back up into our power. So we exist within a lot of systems that are not for our greatest and highest good, like our financial system and our healthcare system and all of the prescription medications that really some help, but oftentimes cause other issues. We become addicted to them, got a lot of chemicals going on in our bodies. We have a lot of issues with our water and our food, having things added to them that are not healthy, not good for us, a lot of toxins and chemicals in our body. We put it on our body, it's in our air. There's just a lot happening here. This is not a high frequency planet, you could say. There are a lot of amazing high frequency things on this planet, but if you look at it sort of from that perspective, we've really been kept sort of in this low energy. And there's a reason. We won't go into that. That's a whole other video, but There are forces on this planet that want to keep us sort of entrapped in those lower frequency energies so that we don't remember who we are. We don't rise back up into our power, and we don't shift. We don't shift into the higher dimensions. So, the star beings, and if you're on this channel, you are more than likely a star being. You may not have figured that out yet, but we came back to incarnate on this planet because we already hold a higher frequency energy. We hold a higher light quotient. And we came back to incarnate to bring that light and that energy and that frequency to help the planet shift because it's a lot of work. There's a lot of darkness on this planet that we're trying to sort of overcome. So, you start going through your spiritual awakening because you are here with a mission and a purpose and a reason. And it doesn't have to be a big mission or a big purpose. Sometimes it is simply because you are here to hold and anchor the light. We have this beautiful light and energy that comes in through our sun. Our sun is a portal. And when that energy and those frequencies come in, we get what are called light codes. Light codes are pulled into the body through the eyes, through the crown, sometimes just breathing them into the body. And those codes are helping to activate and bring us back online. It is a remembering of who you truly are. Because again, for a long time, most of us have thought, I'm just a human having this one linear life experience, and that's that. That is not that. Now, there are humans that are just humans. And my understanding, yours may be different, but my understanding is those are the souls who were created on this planet and who have never experienced life in the higher dimensions. Those souls are the ones that those of us who are star beings and resonate with the galactic guides, with the higher beings, with the angelic realms, with the elemental realms. Those of us who resonate with that, we are here to bring in our frequencies and energies from the different star systems that we come from to help humanity rise back up because for a long time, humans could not do it on their own. It's been a struggle because there's been so much heavy energy and it's like you're trying to claw your way out of quicksand. So you start going through your spiritual awakening, and that's when the remembering happens. And all of these crazy things start flooding into your reality. Like I said, angels came in for me, and then it was the galactic star beings and the Pleiadians. And then you start learning about some really crazy things like the Greys and the reptilians. And then you get a little fearful. That's how I was. I remember freaking out, thinking, oh my gosh, there are very negative extraterrestrials or higher dimensional beings, however you want to look at it. But there are also so many beautiful, benevolent, and loving beings that are also assisting us in this shift, which is quite amazing. You start down this path and you're learning all these things and you're questioning, could this be possible? How do we not know it? How does this world not know all of these things? And how is it that I know them? Why me? That's what I ask myself. Why me? It was just my time. It was just my time to wake up, to start remembering. And it's just your time when it's your time. And you're never behind, or you're always right where you're supposed to be. I wasn't ready before my time of awakening because there are certain things that I needed to experience and go through and complete in my life before I was ready to go to this next level. So that's another thing as you go through your awakening. And I did this too because I had everything flooding into my reality like crazy. And you just want to tell people because, well, for me, I was like, I thought everybody was going to start finding out all this stuff. But then you find out, no, it was just me. It was just my time. So you're telling other people, and they're literally looking at you like you're crazy. And you end up losing friends and sometimes family members. That's part of the experience. I will tell you, if you're new on your awakening, the one thing that my guide shared with me early on is I'm not here to wake other people up before they're ready to wake up. You can plant seeds. You can share the knowledge and information that you gain as you go through your awakening. But if they're not getting it, it's not their time. So many people get hung up in trying to wake others up and then feeling very frustrated when they're not seeing things the way that you're seeing them. Makes total sense. I felt the same way. I was like, what is happening here? Why can't others see what I see? And why is this not happening to them? And I had to learn over time that they weren't ready. They still had things that their soul needed to experience before they could move into their awakening. So, the biggest advice that I can give anybody who's newly going through their awakening, who's just getting started, and you're looking around going, why doesn't anybody else see what I see? Don't worry about it. It's not about them, it's about you. When you start remembering who you are and why you're here and what your mission is and what you came here to do, the biggest focus should be placed on yourself. Because why did you come here as a star being, as a light being? You came here to hold and anchor the lights. And you can't do that if you are not doing the inner healing work. What does that look like? So, one of the things we do in quantum healing hypnosis is we help people to locate deeply ingrained traumas and fears and emotions that have sort of been suppressed throughout your life. Um, you suppress these energies, you suppress the emotions, they build up. To me, it's almost like you have masses all over your body of just emotional trauma that you've never been able to work through because we're not really taught how to do it. And as humans, we don't like to feel that deeply. Well, in order to clear and release energies and traumas, you have to feel it. You have to let it out. You have to cry, release it, get it out of you in some way. Otherwise, you just have this body that's full of this dense, heavy energy, just like our earth, all the low frequency energy and the low vibrations that don't allow you to bring in the light and don't allow you to shift into the higher dimensions, into the higher frequencies and vibrations because you're being weighed down by all of this heavy, dense energy. Again, what we're doing with our physical body is the same thing that we're doing on planet Earth. She is shifting. She is moving out of those lower, dense, heavy energies that have kept her stuck with all of the challenging things that have been going on, all the dark stuff that's been going on. She's releasing that, letting it go. That makes her lighter, and she's able to shift and move into the higher dimensions. We're doing it too. We're doing the exact same thing that she's doing, but we're working on ourselves. So when you begin to look at your traumas, your emotional issues, you start to work through things, you start to release things that are no longer serving you, you get yourself into a better experience, you start to look forward to the life you want to create instead of getting stuck in the old, in the life that you don't like. And you start telling this beautiful new story of who you are becoming instead of who you've been. You start to shift, you start to raise your frequency and vibration, you start to expand your consciousness, and that allows you to tap into even higher and higher dimensional information. It allows you to start having a beautiful connection with your higher guides, your angels, your star family, your higher self, and bring through and channel in knowledge and information, which you're always connected to, you're always bringing in. But the more work that you do, you're making space and room within you so that you can bring through that knowledge easily and know that it's coming from your higher guidance. So we're all doing work. We're all doing this healing work. You may feel guided to go get energy healing sessions, a hypnosis session, some other type of clearing work to help you release what you've been carrying with you. It's like my guide showed me, it's like we're carrying all this baggage with us, these, excuse me, these belief systems of who we believe ourselves to be. If we go back to the beginning, we've been thinking we're humans, but we're not. Surprise, surprise. You are so much more. But we are lugging around all of these heavy belief systems and programs and limiting beliefs and all the things that keep you from really tapping into who you are. So you go through a process or many processes actually of shedding and releasing and clearing the density. This can look like purging. I call it purging, like crying. Like sometimes you just go through these deep depressive time periods and you're thinking, what is happening here? As we're shifting, because we're actively shifting, this is happening now. It's a lot of people are waiting for the shift, but we are shifting. It's happening. The light is coming in. We're having these waves of light come in through our sun. We're integrating them or integrating that energy. Those of us who can hold those higher light quotients, and then we're holding that frequency and that energy for others to tap into. So this takes me back to what the guides were saying about, when you start going through your awakening and everything's happening to you and you feel like you've got to tell everybody, like I have to tell everybody down the street what is happening to me and what is going on. But then when you do, they look at you like you've lost your mind and then you feel frustrated. So my guides would tell me early on, because I had opened up my channel and I could really connect with them, and they were like, it's not about that. It is not about you trying to go around and get everybody to see what you see. It's not. They kept bringing me back to the inner work that I needed to do on myself, because the more work that I do on myself, I am shedding and releasing the density that I'm holding. I'm opening myself up to receive more light, more frequencies. I'm downloading the codes that are coming in from my star system, from other star systems that I can access. And then I'm holding those frequencies. And what the guides have said is we can hold a range of frequencies. So I can hold, the more work that I do, a range of frequencies from different star systems, from just wherever it's coming in, because it's coming in from everywhere. And then that allows me to anchor that energy, those frequencies, into the earth and into the grid system. What's the grid system? So we have an energetic grid around our planet. Some people like to call it a matrix. Um, there are many that talk about the false matrix, which is sort of, you can kind of look at it as like an inverted grid system, an inverted energetic grid that exists around our planet, which has allowed us to sort of experience the lower frequency emotional experiences, the dark. And we're sort of flipping that grid system, if you will, or maybe dissolving the dark grid. There's so many ways to look at it, and there's a lot of information out there. But there's a light grid, and this is the true light grid that exists around Gaia, around our earth. And so when we bring these frequencies into the body and we integrate them, then we can take those frequencies and we can put them into the grid system for other people to access. It's almost like energetic. The way that I see it, it's like if you think of a grid with different lines and different connections, and it probably doesn't look anything like that, but that's just what I'm pulling up in my mind. It's almost like it, and you think of you're standing inside that grid, and I'm standing inside that grid, and these little beams of light are running through us in different directions. The frequencies that we can bring in through our vessel, we're able to sort of anchor those and push those out into the grid. And then, Aunt Martha or whoever is around you, she's able to pick up on that frequency. And she may not need that frequency, or she may absolutely need that frequency to help her either start her process of awakening or her process of healing. She might need to access that frequency. You have to know or remember or understand that our universe is made up of energy, and all of that energy vibrates at different rates of speed. And the rate at which the energy vibrates is the frequency. Everything has a frequency. Everything has a frequency. Everything is energy. So if you look around your space and all the different things that are around you, that's all energy. It's just vibrating at different frequencies, different rates of speed. So when you understand that, you can start to understand frequency even more because frequency is so important. And what we're doing is we are starting to remember that this is a frequency game. And we, unfortunately, for a very long time have been playing in the lower frequencies and we've gotten ourselves stuck. Maybe we did it on purpose, maybe it was done to us. Who really knows at this point? However, we're working to get out of that frequency and into a higher frequency so that life can change and shift. And we can break free from all of these darker structures that have held us sort of stuck, trapped, financial institution, our education. Our education's not that great, you guys. They have been repeating the same things for years and years to our kids. They make them sit in a room for hours upon hours. And a lot of times they're not even really learning anything that they do anything with. That's not for everyone, but there's a lot of things you can really look at and you kind of have to scratch your head and go, why do we do that? But there is a darker purpose or reason behind it all. But we're in the process of shifting that because I think humanity, well, I know humanity has said enough, and Gaia has definitely said enough. She's done playing in this energy. She's ready to shift. We're all ready to shift, and that's what's happening. So you're going through this spiritual awakening and you're starting to realize that the universe is so much bigger than you thought, and that humans are one of an infinite number of beings and life forms that are out there, life forms that range from physical to non physical to collective energies to everything in between. And when you first start to wake up and realize that, it's really hard. It's really challenging because our beliefs are so strong on this planet. We hold on, humans, and even if you're a star being, you're still in a human suit. So we hold on to our belief system so strongly. Have you ever met someone and they have it all figured out? And I've been that person too. You think you know everything. And so somebody comes along and they challenge your belief systems, and you go, no, 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 that can't be right because I know it's this way. I always laugh because I'm like, there are what, 7, 8 billion people on this planet. Um, I was going to say some of which are questionable as souls, but we won't go into that video either. We'll save NPCs for another day as well. But you've got 7 to 8 billion people on this planet, and they all have their own belief systems, and probably every single one of them thinks that they have it all figured out. And really, to be honest, when you start going through an awakening, you realize you had very little figured out. And even as you progress into it, you still realize sometimes that you thought you knew something, but then you totally start to see it in a new way and you go, oh, that wasn't even accurate. But that's okay. That's what's so amazing about this journey is you realize there's so much more out there. And the best way to move through a spiritual awakening is to try and be as open-minded as you can, not shutting things out, going, that's not possible. I think that's one of the things that's made it so fun and easy for me to do the work that I do is because I am extremely open-minded. I don't think there's ever been anything anyone's come along and said that I've been like, there's no possible way. Because I have learned that there are the most incredible things possible. Most people would just die if they knew, but they're not ready for that because you have to expand your consciousness. What does expanding your consciousness mean? So we have a consciousness that resides within us. It's part of our soul. It's part of what we bring into the human body with us when we incarnate. And yes, you are not created, your soul is not created by your mom and dad. I know that's one of the things that we're told, but you actually chose to come here and participate in this experience, and you get to choose. This is where I think in Dolores's book, Life Between Lives, you can really get into that information because she shows where she took clients into that place, that process of choosing. You do get to choose all of the things you want to experience, your parents, where you want to be born, your race, your nationality, all of those things. And I know some of you may be saying, I don't think that I chose this. But I promise you did. There was a reason that your soul wanted to have that experience, and it's different from it for everybody. And I will say, as a hypnosis practitioner doing these sessions, we learn that even sometimes we pick really challenging lives. Sometimes as a soul, you are, well, I'll tell you, you are so powerful as a soul, especially a higher dimensional soul. You look down at these human lives and you're like, I got this. Then you get down here into the human body and you're like, get me out of here. It's a whole different experience when you're physically incarnated. But we do a lot of times, we've heard the guides say sometimes you bite off a little bit more than you can chew. You think that you're going to be able to handle your life, but then you get here and it's a little harder than you thought. So there are some souls that choose really challenging life lessons, challenging family experiences and dynamics, challenging health conditions. They choose to come in here physically handicapped. There's a reason for that. Either the soul needed to experience a life in that type of body, in that type of experience, or that soul is helping someone else to learn lessons, maybe through compassion, or maybe there is a little karmic balancing because in a lifetime before this one, again, they're not linear, but we can say before, something happened that needed to be balanced. So maybe one person did something really bad to another person. And in this life, the person that had the bad experience happen to them chooses to be maybe physically handicapped so that the other person has to care for them. There's a balancing of energies between lifetimes that sometimes has to happen so that you can clear out those energetics. So many different experiences to be had. But sometimes we do plan our lives and we do plan our experiences, but free will veer you off in the wrong direction. And you meant to go this way and you end up over here. But oftentimes, I think you always end up back where you're meant to be. It may just take you a little bit to get there. So many things you start to realize as you go through your awakening. You are not just one human. You are not just having this one life. You are a soul. You are an expansive soul who has had many physical and non physical experiences. You probably are waking up to realize that you are connected to the stars and you have a star family. Pleiadians, Andromedans, Arcturians, the Sirians, the Lyrans, the Orions. You could even be connected to some of the lower negative beings, what we consider negative beings. But keep in mind that within all races, there are benevolent and malevolent beings. So there's always a range, just like there is here on Earth. You've got the good guys and the bad guys. So you start to go through that experience of understanding all of those things, and you sort of have to acclimate, like I did, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. But as long as you can allow yourself to expand and to know that it's okay, don't freak out, and just kind of go with the flow and let that information in. You're going to be guided by your team of guides, your higher self. They're going to bring to you what it is that you need to know. They will bring what you need to experience to you. And so everybody is going to look different. And this is just leading you on a path to possibly where you need to be, excuse me, to complete your mission. And again, I think I said it, everybody's mission is different. Some people are going to be healers, become healers. I went from a completely different role. I was a web designer, web developer. I was in marketing, and I completely jumped ship. I jumped a complete timeline, and now I'm a quantum healer, and I've been doing that for close to 4 years now. So that's okay too. A lot of people freak out. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden I was doing this one thing, but now I'm being drawn over here. Just allow yourself to go. It's okay. That's where you're meant to be. You have a plan already in place. Again, going back to we plan everything. We really plan everything. Your higher self is planning your experience. So just allowing that to unfold, knowing that you are going to learn some crazy things. You're going to find out that fairies and elementals and dragons are real. And you may be listening thinking there is no possible way, but I promise you, I work with many who have their very own dragons that show up in meditations. I myself have seen I've had past life regressions where I've gone into the life of a fairy. I've had the life of a mermaid. I think I was even a Yeti, like a Bigfoot type of being. And those are what I consider to be our elementals, our elemental beings. They are protectors of the earth. They take care of the earth, and they reside on earth, but it's almost dimensional. So you can have dimensional layers layered on top of each other. So you've got the third dimensional earth, which is what most people are familiar with, the life that we've all lived for so long. Then you have the fourth dimensional earth, which sort of overlays, and the fifth dimensional earth. And they're all sort of layered over the top of each other. But within each dimension is a different experience, a different way of being, a different way of living. And so, what we're trying to do is simply shift from that third dimensional space into that fifth dimensional space and higher, which is where we begin to access more of our heart. The third, fourth dimension is more of the mind space where we use our mind to create and to live. But um, I don't know about your mind, but minds can get you in trouble. They can keep you stuck in worry, in all the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that they create. So, as we shift into the higher dimensions, we are learning to tap into our heart space and really live our life from our heart, open hearts, lots of compassion, lots of love for each other, lots of self love. That is the shift. When you begin to do that inner work that we talked about, the clearing and the releasing and the letting go of who you have been, who you think you have to be, when you let that person go and you start to tap into your heart and open up that heart space, you begin to live a life full of compassion and self love. You begin to realize you don't have to tell other people what to do and how to do it. It's like that's your ego. That is a program that we think we have to tell everybody how to live. And we think that we know everything and you have to believe like I do. You get into the heart space and you just, it doesn't matter anymore. You love another person enough to allow them to be whatever and whoever they want to be. You no longer feel like you have to control another human's life experience because you are focused on yourself and your heart, and you are feeling full of love. You're holding that higher frequency and vibration, and all of that falls away. And that is really what this process is all about. It's about shifting into a higher dimension, but that higher dimension allows us to experience life full of love, full of joy, ease, and flow. We're not in resistance anymore. We're not being controlled, but we're in our sovereignty. We have become a full sovereign being, and we're just living a life that is and just whatever you choose it to be. That's another thing that you begin to realize when you go through your awakening is that you hold a spark of source right inside of you. That is the energy that resides within you. So, and I know that can be a little controversial, whether you say God or source or the creator or the divine or however you want to look at it, but it's an energy source. Again, remember, everything is energy, everything, even our creator, even our source, even our God, energy. And we were created in that image. So we hold that energy within. That's why they say humans are creator beings. We have the ability to create through our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. The lower dimensions keep us creating sometimes in a not so positive way. They keep us stuck. We keep creating the wrong things because we're focused on the wrong things. But when you get into the heart, you begin to create from a more expansive way where you're actually creating and manifesting the life that you want to live instead of staying focused on all the problems that are going on in your life and continually to sort of cycle through those. It's a clearing of that and moving into that higher space where things just unfold beautifully. So I feel like I've been talking for a bit. I feel like I could go on, but I really wanted to share this sort of spiritual awakening one on one to share some of my experiences to let you know that if you are going through this, it is okay. It is okay. You're not alone. There are so many people out there going through this. It goes in waves. We can't all wake up together or we would all lose our minds. So we have to sort of have this little trickle effect where this group wakes up and then this group and then this group, and it's going to just continue in waves like that until we reach this crescendo and we are able to go through this beautiful shift into the next experience. And I will tell you from my perspective in working so closely with the guides, everybody's experience through this shift is going to be unique to them. So I know there's so many people out there that say, this is what the shift is going to look like, and this is how it's going to happen. And what I truly believe is that it's going to look different for different people based on what your soul chooses to experience. We don't all want to have the same experience. There are some star seeds that when the shift happens, they're ready to go home. They've done their job. They're like, peace out. We're out of here. And they're going to go home. And that's going to look different for them how that happens, whether they just begin to vibrate at a faster rate of speed and they go where they're going. It's going to look different for everybody. There's some that are going to stay on the new earth and they're going to continue down that path. I've heard so many different, a variety of variations when clients come in for the messages from your guides and angel sessions. Um, there is a variety of ways people are going to experience the shift. So don't get too caught up on it's going to look this way or that way or this way or that way because your soul has already chosen your experience and it may not fit into any of those. And that's okay because it's going to be perfect for you. It will be perfect for your family. So don't worry about that either. I know we get hung up sometimes worrying about who's going to make the shift and who's not going to make the shift. It's all based on what the soul chooses. And that's it in a nutshell. So if the soul chooses to go this way, they're going to go. If they don't, they're going to go this way. And it doesn't matter what we want for someone else to experience. It is completely based on their soul's choosing. So know that it is all perfect and divinely aligned for each and every person. I hope this helps a little if you are going through a spiritual awakening, and especially if it's a rapid one like I went through. And I know some people are going through right now. It's like your eyes are just wide open and you're learning all the things. Just breathe and flow. Get into a nice meditative state when you can. Go outside and ground. Stay in nature. Nature is so good and so healing. And that will help you tremendously move through this process. Remember, the key to it is the inner work that you do on yourself. It is not worrying about anyone else in your reality, even your children. They have guides, they have a path, they have a plan. You just guide them the best you can. You plant the seeds and know that everything is going to work out exactly as it should. This journey is so much fun if you can sort of expand your consciousness and allow it to come in without fear, without worry. Because I know we get a little in our heads and we're like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? If you are looking for a group to help support you through your spiritual awakening, I have an amazing Quantum Soul portal. We do, it's a monthly membership where we do a lot of different healing sessions. I create guided quantum meditations that we do every month. We do group hypnosis sessions. We do Starship healing sessions, which are part channeling, part healing. A lot of frequencies come in through those sessions, which helps to balance out your energies. We have channeling sessions where the guides come in, and for 2.5 hours, they give us a lot of information. And it's just an amazing community of those who have gone through their awakening, are going through their awakening. We're all doing it together. We're all getting through this craziness. So if you need that support, I will leave the information for the Quantum Soul Portal below. I also have an upgraded program where if you are on your path and you're stepping into your mission, but you're a little bit stuck, we're going to go deep into what's keeping you stuck and how do we clear and release it so that you can shift with ease and align to the highest timeline potential of who you came here to be. I'll leave all that information in the description below. I hope this helped. If you have a friend that is going through a spiritual awakening and needs a little 101, this may not have been quite 101. I probably got into some higher topics, but I could talk about this all day. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or feel free to reach out at heather@quantumhealingwithin.com. I'd love to help in any way I can. All right. Hope you are having a wonderful day. See you in the next video.